Imagine hearing voices. Not in a dream. Not in your imagination. Real voices. While you are standing in a field. Tending sheep. A teenage girl, in a small French village, who had never held a sword in her life. The voices told her something impossible. They told her, "You will save France." She was 17 years old. And she believed them. Within 1 year, she had done it. Within 2 years, France had burned her alive. The year is 1428. France is dying. For nearly 100 years, England and France had been locked in a brutal war, the 100 Years' War. English armies controlled half of France. The French king had no throne. French cities were falling one by one, and the people of France had lost all hope. They prayed for a miracle. They did not expect that miracle to be a peasant girl from a tiny village called Domremy. Her name was Joan. Born in 1412 to a poor farming family, she could not read, she could not write, but from the age of 13, she heard voices, the voices of Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, Saint Margaret. They came to her in the fields, in the church, in her dreams. At first she was frightened, then she listened, and the voices gave her a mission so impossible that anyone else would have laughed. Go to the French army, lead them to victory, crown the true king of France. Joan traveled to the nearest French military commander, Robert de Baudricourt. She told him God had sent her to save France. He laughed. He sent her away. She came back. He laughed again. She came back a third time. This time, something in her eyes made him stop laughing. He gave her a horse, an escort, and a letter to the French court. A 17-year-old peasant girl was on her way to meet the future king of France. The French court tried to trick her. They dressed a random nobleman as the king, and hid the real Prince Charles in the crowd. Joan walked straight past the fake king, found the real prince, and told him things about himself that no one else could possibly know. The court was silent. Charles stared at her, and for the first time in years, the future king of France felt something he had forgotten: hope. Joan made one request. She asked for armor, a sword and an army. They gave her white armor custom-made. They gave her a sword, discovered exactly where she said it would be, buried behind an altar in a church no one had visited in years, and they gave her an army that had not won a single battle in months. She cut her hair short, she put on her armor, and she rode to war. Orleans was the most important city in France. It had been under English siege for 7 months. French generals had given up hope of saving it. Joan arrived, and within 9 days, the siege was broken. 9 days. What the entire French army could not do in 7 months, a teenage girl did in 9 days. The English were terrified. Joan did not stop at Orleans. She led the French army from battle to battle. Victory after victory. She was wounded twice, an arrow through her shoulder, a crossbow bolt through her leg both times. She pulled out the arrow herself both times. She returned to battle the same day. The French soldiers who had, on July 17, 1429, Joan stood inside the Cathedral of Reims and watched Charles VII be crowned King of France. She had done exactly what the voices told her to do. She wept, not from sadness, from something she had never felt before. In May 1430, Joan was captured, not by the English, by French nobles who had switched sides. They sold her, to the English, for 10,000 gold coins. The king she had crowned did not send a single. The trial lasted 3 months. 70 charges against her. Church officials, English lawyers, powerful men, all determined to destroy her. they questioned her for hours every day. They found her guilty, not of witchcraft, not of heresy, but of wearing men's clothing. That was the official reason, wearing armor, cutting her. On May 30th, 1431, Joan of Arc was taken to the marketplace of Rouen. A crowd of 10,000. 25 years after her death, the church retried her case, and declared she was a peasant girl who could not read. She heard voices in a field, and she saved an entire